Alright, people, I wanted to do this one as a separate video because that one I wanted to try to keep it in that subject matter that I was talking to y'all about. So I did this one as a separate video. That one was about judging, obviously. My first video, if you haven't seen it, please go scroll back and find it. It's going to be called Public Service Announcement to My Fellow Christians. This video is part 2 on a different subject matter. I had been thinking about this as well, but I didn't want to keep prolonging that video and keep getting out of subjects because I can always find other subjects to talk about, but I'd rather take those subjects and dissect it and put it in another video for more content. So anyway, I don't know why I bothered to put my glasses back on. But anyway, I wanted to address, period, how I am about talking about religion with people first to begin with, why I believe in God, and why I am non-denominational, aka Church of Christ, versus Catholic, Methodist, Lutheran, whatever else. I was raised as non-denominational Church of Christ. But as a teen, you want to rebel, you want to go to other churches because your parents are sneaky, you don't want to sit with them, or maybe they're judging you because you're not singing loud enough, which my mom used to be like, I can't hear you, why are you not singing, da 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 da. And I felt like she was judging me. And I'm not saying that she is, it's just how it felt as a teen. So, being a teen, I'm going to do a teen thing, and I started going to night church, and they went to day church. Then they thought I wasn't going to church at all. And that's okay. All she had to do was check up on me. But anyway, I got to thinking about other churches. Why are they so different? Why do people even bother going to other churches called something else? Why aren't they just all called the same thing? And I realized sometimes people, just like in real life with politics, sometimes people feel the Bible means this about this way, and sometimes they mean this about this way, or some follow old rules and some follow just the new rules, some follow all of the above. Some also don't believe in certain things, and some do believe in other things. So, what I have found that I trained myself to start believing in is I try to collect Bibles of different religions just because I'm curious what they believe in. You need to know what all, I mean, you don't need to read the Satanic Bible, obviously. That's not really even a Bible. It's more of a instruction on how to be a little shit in life and follow the devil. I ain't worried about that. But I am curious about all the positive religions that do believe in God and are trying to follow God's path. I want to learn more about those religions. Anything can be a religion at any time. Don't think that just because the word religion is there that it's the good one or it's the right one. Honestly, what it boils down to is taking the Bible, and I would suggest anything closest to the original version. If you can read Hebrew, go for it. But I stick basically with King James Version because it's closer to an older time, and things can get lost in translation, which I'm already sure it did. And you have to remember that the Bible is a history book of the past, of things that had happened in the past and what they predicted for the future. But just like us, there are people who help write the Bible, and people are not perfect. We do not write down everything perfectly. We don't remember everything perfectly that happened. And so you do have to take it with a grain of salt sometimes. But you get the gist of what the Bible is saying. Now, I already thought about that. And then I went throughout life. I would see things that happen. I felt things happen. And just, it wasn't my parents who made me believe in God. It was what I felt and what I saw and what happened and what I went through. And I just felt it. I always felt it. I just knew it was there. Like, there's a reason why I hate apples. I don't know why I don't like apples. I just know I don't like apples. I don't like that. And and then as you get older, you know, and you start paying attention to Bible study and everything, apparently apples were the root of all evil, or at least the one tree. I don't know about all apples, but at least that one tree was. And, you know, and deep down to me, it was a joke. It was like, you know, I don't like apples because it was bad anyways. Eve gave an apple, you know. So for me, it's always been a joke. But I can always have been able to sense bad, negative things. And I think that plays into a lot of why I believe in God. I sense something being there. I can't put a finger on it. And I think that's why they call it faith. You just know it sometimes. Some people, not everyone can. It's like motherhood. Some are natural at it. Some just feel it from the day they're born. My cat is being crazy right now. And then some have to read a book on how to do it, because sometimes not everyone can be born with the same genes as others. Some of us are book smart. Some of us are crafty. Some of us can build a house. Some of us are good at plumbing. Everyone, you know, if you had bars, if this was the game of Fallout Shelter, you know, you got your special status. SPECIAL. Some stats are higher than other stats, you know. Let's put it in that form. Well, some people just take naturally to other things and feel things, or in tune with things versus other things. And we're not saying that's a bad thing, just means you're good at something else. Well, I was just always in tune with earth and nature and this other thing. And obviously I'm calling it God. And some people need help. They need to just read the Bible for themselves. So I've learned over time, some people have to learn this for themselves. And they're not always going to choose what you're going to choose. They're not always going to believe in what you believe in. But we can all at least agree that certain things are positive or negative. Like, we can at least all agree that God is good, at least believe in God, and at least follow His word. So, even though Lutherans or Methodists or whoever, even though some of these people read from the same type of Bible, they don't always interpret it the same way. But that doesn't mean that one of the people reading the Bible in that church, they may not interpret the same way as the whole church does. They just might be going there because their family goes there. You never know. So I've learned I don't judge other people if they go to a different church than me, because all that really matters at the end is, are you a good person? Do you do good things? Do you believe in God? Do you follow the Bible to the best of your ability? Do you try to do the best you can in life? And do you try to help other people go to God? That's what matters. So, like, I have a friend who is one religion, but she married someone who is another religion. Family isn't too happy. I don't understand why. It's not like you can't go to two different churches. My husband's Baptist. I am not. I'm non-denominational. I am a Church of Christ. There are a lot of religions that are non-denominational. There are a lot of Church of Christs that are not non-denominational. Some Church of Christ wear doilies on their heads. Some Church of Christ are almost like Church of Gods. You can't judge a church by its name. You have to just kind of go and investigate and fill them out and feel if it's for you, and if it's not, that's just what I had to do. So, but I do know the gist of what I am is Church of Christ, non-denominational. So that's the title I stick with. I do know people are not perfect. Some people in church cannot be perfect. And getting back to, you know, people judging other people, like in my other video, well, one of my things I remember my parents used to say to me would be, why don't you date somebody from the church? Why don't you hang out with people from church more often? Well, because they're not perfect either. They're no better. Sometimes they're even worse, because they go to church and can get away from their family at night, and they can get to hang out after church in the parking lot and kiss or whatever. Sometimes they tend to be worse, especially at a Christian school, man. A lot of people I knew that went to Christian schools, man. I had friends that I would meet, and when I would ask them where they used to go to school, and it would end up being a Christian school, half the time them kids used to be little badasses. It's just something about when parents try to shove religion down kids' throats, it can backfire. So that's why the other video was about not judging people, not shoving it down their throats, because it can tend to backfire and be a bad thing. But anyway, back to this video. This video is why do I believe in God? And I've pretty much said why. I pretty much, just have always felt it. It's always been there for me. A lot of people don't know that I believe. I don't always talk about it because I don't wear it on my sleeve, because I don't like to be pushy. And I do know this, that I do have friends, or I have some friends and I have some ex-friends, or people who say they never were a friend to begin with. Anyway, I have people and acquaintances, I guess is the best way to put it, who also are atheists or don't believe in God. And when I meet them, one of your first questions when you meet with people, when you're making small talk, is where are you from? Where did you grow up? What do you drive? And of course, where did you go to church, if you went to church? And sometimes they answer with, oh, I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist, or I'm agnostic, or I don't believe, they're undecided. I go, oh, okay. And those people, normally, that's how you respond, it shocks them, and half the time they'll keep talking to you because you're not trying to shove religion down their throat. So, anyways, just a word of advice for trying to make friends: don't shove religion down people's throats. Accept what they tell you, and try to find a way later, if you really must talk about it at a proper time. Anyways, or when you feel so compelled that you think, if you're good at reading social cues, when you feel it's a proper time, then fine, whatever. But I have friends who I have made that are agnostic, or they're not religious, or downright just believe in the devil, period. Whatever their religion or view about God is, I still talk to them because I know I'm strong enough in my faith that I can handle what they believe in, and I don't care. I've brought up God, I've done my part, planted the seed. I don't care. That's not my soul, that's their business. Once I have mentioned it, if you want nothing to do with it, fine. That's not my business. But I do believe in God, and my thing is that I always tell them before I drop religion, the one thing I always tell people is, I would rather believe in something my whole life and be happy, and then die and nothing happens, than to have believed in nothing, or believed in the wrong thing, which could be like, if you're obviously worshiping Satan or a false god. If you're worshiping something else that's negative, obviously you do that your whole life and you're wrong. Well, you being wrong is actually going to have an effect, because if you were wrong, then now your soul's in jeopardy. I would just rather had spent my whole life believing in something with my whole heart, believing in God, and then find out that I'm wrong. Because at least if I'm wrong, I just turn into dust, man. I go back into the recycle of the earth. If this is all about science, then I just go back to dirt. No harm done. But if you're wrong and you don't believe, what happens? Do I really want to spend an eternity without God? Which could mean many things. No one really knows what's going to happen when you go to hell, but I can imagine it could be many things. Some believe it just means the absence of God, meaning he's not going to be there, which some people believe that's not such a bad thing. Truth is it can get pretty lonely and pretty quiet in there, and if there's no warden around, people can beat you up and rape you and do whatever. You don't realize that your soul, especially when you can feel things in your heart and in your soul, obviously, even though your body's gone, you're still going to feel things deep down in your soul, I have a clock that meows that my brother just felt so lovely to give me. He did it to annoy my cat, and I think it annoys me now more than the cat. It annoys the dog, definitely. But anyway, um, when God's not around, so much bad is gonna happen. And even worse, what if it's not just about the absence of God? What if you're gonna burn constantly? Your flesh is you're not gonna have nerves, so it's not like you can become numb to it. What if it's just the non-stop, constant effect, even emotional pain, and your emotions come from your soul? It doesn't come from trigger responses in your body. Because some people don't have trigger responses. Some people are brain dead, but they still have emotion. You just don't know it. Anyway, it's like when your brain shut down, but you're still dreaming. You have emotions. It's not like it's here. It's not in your nerves all over. It's here. Anyways, it's up here. It's in your thoughts, and your thoughts technically come deep down in your soul. Anyway, it's just your flesh can't fall off because you have no body. So your soul's just sitting there burning and burning, and you're in pain, and you're being tortured constantly. I just think of all the worst things that could possibly happen. Like, if I can't stand being burnt or stabbed nonstop, why would I want to risk that for eternity? Like, no one can do something for an eternity. Even eating for an eternity would get old. Just, I want nothing but pleasant things for an eternity. I don't want non-pleasant things. So, honestly, I would rather believe in God, like I said, and be wrong. I'd rather have faith in something and find out that I'm wrong than to not have had faith, went on with this miserable, negative life, and turn out I'm wrong. Now I gotta suffer the consequences. I have to pick. I'm gonna pick believing. I'd rather believe for no reason and end up being wrong. That's just how I see it. So that's what I bring up to people when I say, why don't you believe? And that's what I followed up with. Wouldn't you rather believe in something your whole life, put your whole heart into it, like you would love? I would rather risk love on someone who's going to leave me 5 years down the road than to never have felt love before. I would rather not go my whole life unloved, no attention, nobody playing with my hair, no one scratching my back, no one coming home and saying, hey babe, I love you. Even if it's temporary, I would rather have some love, some time, at some point in my life, just to be taken away from me, than I would rather not go without my whole, than to never have felt it at all. I know it sucks when you lose it, and I know it would suck to have faith in something and to turn out for it to be wrong, but it feels a whole lot better while you believed in it, while you had it, than when you didn't. So, anyway, that's going to be my sum up for this video. And I have another video I'm going to do real quick. Surprise! 3 videos in one day. This video is actually going to be for products. So, I'll see y'all in a minute.